Today's episode of the mini breakdown, we're going to talk about how Hornsby thwarted Doyalson's role in the 2020 Grand Final. So this is the 2018 Grand Final, and you can see Doyalson subbing on the field with such momentum. They're just bashing through Parramatta, and they just run their plays at speed. And because Parramatta are just on the back foot, they had no defence. So what teams were trying to do, and in that game what Parramatta were trying to do, is they were trying to just do midfield pressure. Oh, we get the pen going. I know I'm drawing on this. This is the 2020 Grand Final. I'm drawing on this, but they just try and hammer you in the midfield. But Doyalson practiced so much of that because that's the way they defend. They try to hammer the midfield defence as well. So they were very, very proficient in keeping the ball alive and beating that midfield D. And Hornsby knew that. So this is the way Hornsby decided that they were going to counter Doyalson's role. This is off the tap-off, and it just shows a prime example of the way this grand final was going to play out. Let's have a look what happens here. Doyalson are running their tap-off move, and they stop. And then they have to start again. Okay, so if you noticed, when they run into it, look at all of Hornsby. They know that Doyalson can't run in and make the dump 3 metres out, because then they've only got 3 metres to get on side. Now, the rule states that, yes, you must move forward when you drop into this, this was a 5 metre line at the time, but when you drop into the 7, the rule is your team must be moving forward to make a touch. But they've all dropped into the 7 at the exact same time. And at the exact moment when they knew that Doyalson were rolling in to make the dump right here, they're not letting them do that. Okay, and then when they're all set, they're inside the 7, one of them will go up to make the touch. So they're inside the 7, you can see the referee telling them to move forward. Yep, and this player here is going to isolate himself to go and make the touch, and everyone else is going to be in a good position. There it is, and everyone else is just dropping back. Okay, now if they didn't drop into the 7 and let Doyalson make the dump there on the roll, everyone else would be bent, they'd be up here, they'd be in shambles. Okay, but now they've settled themselves down, they've got a good pre-touch, and they can react accordingly to this sweeper long ball and shut down the play. That's off the tap-off. So they've already executed. Now Doyalson, you can see him getting frustrated over that call. That's off the tap-off, and it just really set a precedent of what the game was going to be like. Now you can see Doyalson rolling on the field with their subs. There's the latch. They're getting good meters, but as they go to run their play again, look where Hornsby are. They're inside. They roll back into the 7. It's a bit after. They've just started moving forward now, but you can see Doyalson have just had to stop. Their biggest strength, which is their running game and their rucking, they cannot do. They have to stop. They have to start playing static, which is really against what they want to do, because they know that if you can get a good roll on, it's way more effective than trying to start from a standstill. So yes, they just start moving laterally a little bit. Hornsby have set themselves. They've done a lot of practice on static line defence, and they're able to shut down the static play. Let's have another look. Going left to right. Switch. This is supposed to be a dump on the 7. Can't do it. Can't do that either. So now once again, we've stopped. Okay? Hornsby, they drop into the 7 because they know Doyalson are not going to come in and make the dump there. Because if they make the dump there, by the time the dummy half picks up to pass the ball, they're just in their face. And it's probably going to be a drop ball, a dummy half court, or a changeover. Because the golden rule is you don't dump the ball inside the 7 metres, or in this case, way worse, it was the 5 metre line. So they've had to stop. As you can see on the dump, there's one player isolating themselves to make the touch. Everyone else is in good position. They're really good at defending static play, Hornsby, because that is what they do best. They do static play the best, which means at training, they go up against the best static play in the state, which means that they can defend the best static play in the state. And they just start really frustrating Doyalson in this game. And there's Hornsby putting on a try with just a simple late switch. And that is a static play. move laterally, shift Doyalson's momentum, and the defender just slips over. So that is a big factor in the way that Hornsby won this game. It's just because they knew the strengths of Doyalson and they figured out a way to render it useless. And that was the roll. Pretty much you let them roll too far and they will eventually stop. And it was just a really smart tactic. And while it got Hornsby the win, and that's great, as a spectator, it sucked. Because all of a sudden, all this exciting flow that you were getting was completely stopped. And everything was static. And static, as far as running, is very boring to watch. So, congratulations, Hornsby. But, it was a very, very slow grand final to watch. And, that was during COVID, so I somehow managed to sneak my way into the stand when we weren't supposed to have crowds. So hopefully no one's getting cranky at me for saying that. But thanks for watching the mini breakdown. We're going to have another video very soon that's going to show how the Doyalson crew, while they're playing for Hornets, they come up against Hornsby again while Hornsby are playing for the Scorpions. And the Scorps try the exact same tactic against the Hornets to stop their roll. And we're going to talk about how the Hornets respond to that. But thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.